Bryce, I just wanted to ask you, like, you've been here for a minute. Where has this program grown in the time you've been here? What has been the biggest area of change?
Yeah, I think my freshman year I first came in, obviously we had, our key pillars to our team: connection, growth, toughness, and sacrifice. But I think when we first started, those were kind of just words, and over time they developed into actual character traits that our team embodies. And I think physicality is too. That's something that Coach Lanning and his staff brought. And again, like first year, it's something that you kind of talk about, but then once you really get into year 3, year 4, like these past 2 years, it's really shown up on tape. So it's been cool to see.
Next up is Aaron on the right.
Hey, Bryce, you guys came into the season looking for, new leadership and people to step up. And can you give me your impressions of someone like Malik Benson, a senior who's really established himself? What have you seen from the other side of the ball with him?
Yeah, Malik's a ball energy, man. He shows up to the field with a smile on his face all the time, which I think is important. Once you do something for long enough, may become old or get mundane, but he's always, talking crap out on the field with a smile on his face. And I love his energy, man, and it rubs off on everyone the right way.
Here on the left, John.
When you're playing an RPO heavy offense like this that's trying to stress you guys and the linebackers, how do you try to stay disciplined and stuff like that in practice this week to be ready for that, especially when you got a quarterback who likes to get the ball out really quickly?
Yeah, you just got to trust what you see and play fast. Obviously, they do RPOs to run the ball. So as backers, we got to fit the run. But if you see full hands by the quarterback, dropping back and getting in an RPO window is important. So just repping it in practice and watching it on film.
Back left, Aaron.
Coach told us last week that the bye week allowed for your team and your staff to kind of put some wrinkles to stop, maybe differ some of those tendencies that you guys have from the beginning of the season until now. When you know that you're facing another team too that also had that opportunity to kind of put some wrinkles in, your role, your position, how important is that for you to be able to maybe notice some of those wrinkles and make adjustments during the game?
Yeah, it's going to be huge, especially with the bye week. But I feel like every week you prepare based off what you see on tape. And a lot of times it does show up, and that's the fun part about the game is like recognizing something in the game that you've been watching all week. But there is about 50% of the time where they apply a new concept or do something new, and you kind of got to adjust on the fly on the sideline or in game. So that's the exciting part about football.
On the left, Eric.
How valuable do you think it was to have a bye week where it kind of landed on the schedule right after that big Penn State game and the emotions we obviously saw with Penn State, kind of maybe the lingering effects of playing a game like that? How valuable was that for this team?
Yeah, I think it was super valuable. Given the magnitude of that game, going into overtime, how physical they were and how we were, just getting healthy and mentally getting right. I think it was, well timed out.
James.
What have you seen from Mendoza, and how is he similar or different than the quarterback you saw when you played him at Cal?
Yeah, he's obviously improved since he's played at Cal. He does his job well. He makes solid decisions and plays well within their scheme. I'm excited. Hopefully he brings his best come Saturday because we want to see his best and should be a fun one.
Back right, Brett.
Bryce, I would imagine as a kid you watched College Game Day quite often, obviously, and everything that's going on. To be able to have another opportunity for College Game Day to be here in Eugene, just what does that mean for you to have that opportunity to be here at the university? And does anything really change when it does come into town for you guys as a team?
Yeah, man. Anytime we get game day here, it's pretty cool. I've been to a few, growing up here, and it's special. As a player, it doesn't change anything. You still prepare the same way, and you still bring it the same time come game day, so that doesn't change. But it's definitely exciting for the fan base and the city.
James on the left.
Touched on it a little earlier, Bryce, but going back to your first year, remember at the time the BYU matchup was a game for home game purposes, it was like the first ranked matchup at Autzen in a couple of years.
Yeah.
And now this is the third top 10 home matchup in 4 years. How do you get used to that as a player where like the big game is just that is the normal now, that the part of the standard of being a good team is also welcoming good teams, and that's a normal experience because it's game day and national TV and all the rest, but it's like you don't get fazed by that anymore.
Yeah, I think it's just being in the program for long enough now. Like you said, it is just the standard. We're pretty lucky that is the standard because it's not like that a lot of different places. I think that's a credit to our hard work and the culture that Coach Lanning and his staff has set here amongst all the players that came before us. It's a pretty cool opportunity.
On the right, Alec.
Yeah, quarterbacks have been super inefficient against you guys. I think they're completing 52% of their passes against your defense, and Mendoza I think is at 73%, 74%. What's going to be the key against a quarterback that is very normally efficient to make him inefficient?
Yeah, I mean, I think obviously we got some things that we're game planning, which I'm not going to really go in depth with, but just playing our game, doing what we do, disguising looks, or maybe showing them something that is exactly our look, and going off that, just playing ball the right way, doing what we do, and I think we'll have a pretty good shot at winning this game.